Welcome to Doomscroll. I'm Lisa Curry.
Hey, and I'm Matt Sheffield, and today we're joined by Jamila Lemieux. She is a podcaster and a writer at Slate and elsewhere. So welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here. So many fun things happened this past week. Steve Bannon is going to prison. I'm pretty excited. I want all of those people to go to prison, although they'll probably get pretty good treatment, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, and it is like this is a sentence that he got sentenced to in 2022. So it's 2 years after the fact, literally for just totally refusing to testify before the January 6th committee. And he managed to dodge prison because we have a two-tiered system of justice in this country, because anyone can avoid going to Congress and testifying and defying a subpoena, but apparently not Republicans. And literally, it's all the opposite of everything these assholes say. It's just so absurd, and especially when they start bringing, and I don't know how you feel, Jamila, but when they start comparing Donald Trump to Black people and being and Donald Trump is persecuted and Black people like him now. I mean, it's just, it's so sick.
It's so insulting. But the GOP is making a big push for Black and Latino men. And I do fear that there are some that'll be seduced by the attention they're getting from Trump and his folks. Hopefully not too many.
Yeah. Well, although I guess if Steve Bannon is the person doing the seducing, I don't think anybody's going to be interested in that.
Imagine him seducing anything other than, I can imagine him seducing the creature from the movie Tremors, and that's about it.
Yeah, and this is a guy who he literally kept a tub of acid in his house, a bathtub filled with acid. Yes.
I'm sorry, for what? For why? Why
I have
am I hearing this for the first time?
It's the weirdest thing. Okay, so apparently, so he was living in a house that some right-wing Republican owned or something, and the guy who was the owner of it got evicted from the property or something, so Steve had to leave. And these reporters went in there after the fact, and there was a tub of acid in the house. It was filled with acid.
So many questions I have so many questions that I do not want the answer to.
Yeah, it's like Breaking Bad is what the fuck? Why is this guy not in prison? Just who the hell?
He does.
We need him a long time ago in prison.
He does look like maybe he boils a vat of acid on the stove and just lets the steam from it wash over his face in the morning.
Yeah, instead of coffee.
Yeah.
Steve Bannon looks like he died 5 years ago. So
honest to God.
Maybe the acid is preserving him somehow.
Speaking of ghouls.
Yes, that's right. Rudy Giuliani had an episode over the weekend that was pretty hilarious. He got fired from a radio show. America's Mayor is the name of the show because of fucking course, right? And the reason he got fired is that he wouldn't shut the fuck up about the 2020 election. And that whole, his whole slander of those two election workers in Georgia, it's just he in court said, I libeled Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss. I spoke untrue things about them. That's what he said in court. And then ever since then, outside of court, he's like, no, I told the truth. And, his boss was like, okay, you know what? You can't do this. You can't get on my airwaves and say, all these things that you said yourself were defamatory about these women. Get out of here. Stop it. And he apparently, according to the owner, he had warned him 3 different times. Stop talking about this shit. Stop talking about this
I don't understand how he survived past two things. One, the Sacha Baron Cohen series, This Is America, where he's caught undoing his pants or whatever was going on. And then
For
also
a teenager, yeah.
And also 4 seasons landscaping. This man is not even competent. he's not likable, and I understand you don't have to be likable to be beloved by conservatives, but he's also incompetent. He's also actively embarrassing them.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's literally only that he had lots of money. Started off with lots of money. I think that's the only reason. Like, because after 9/11, he had this bullshit consultancy operation. And he was making, according to him, like he had like $400 million net worth. Which
me too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because again, there's a 2-tiered system in America, and it's biased against Republicans. That's what this is.
Do you remember?
I mean, I personally am out to get them. Oh, go ahead.
Do you remember the security commercials he was doing? I think it was for like
remind me of those.
Something along. I think it was like identity theft protection, but they were like pushing him as the security expert because of 9/11. These were like an infomercial.
No.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Of a security expert. 9/11 happened while you were there. What are you talking about? You didn't save anyone from anything.
Well, and also I think didn't that commercial end after he like repeatedly butt dialed a bunch of reporters? Do you remember that?
Oh no.
Do you remember that, Jamila?
Mm-mm.
He did. Yeah, he like butt dialed a Politico reporter and somebody from I think it was Huffington Post, and literally had a conversation in front of them for like 30 or 40 minutes. And he had no idea before he cut it off. But yeah, like that's and I've said before on the show, like we're lucky in America that Trump had Rudy Giuliani as his lawyer. Like if he had anybody, remotely competent, that fucker could have pulled off his plan to steal the election. But luckily, it was Rudy. So, God bless Rudy Giuliani.
He needs it, yeah.
Yeah. Well, all right. So then, in other international news, Joe Biden is finally starting to do some. Finally stopping giving Israel everything that it wants in its attack on Gaza. And has now said he's not going to give them these gigantic bombs that they have been asking for, whose only purpose is basically to level city buildings, and without any care of who's in them. And the Republicans are angry at him for this. And
well, see, Matt, Hamas could be in the Earth's core. You don't know, so you have to level everything and take out so much of the top layers of the earth just in case. Just have to level here's the thing. When I heard that this week, and then Israel responded by saying, well, if America doesn't give us smart bombs, we're going to use dumb bombs and kill more people. If I'm like, that is blatant proof that their aim is just to level the whole place, and that, like, you're threatening to kill more people. You've killed 35,000 people, most of which have been civilians and women and children. None of this is funny, by the way. It's just insane that I'm sure people somewhere are eating it up. Like, well, we got to give them smart bombs. They have one of the most advanced militaries on the planet. They're not making dirty bombs in their fucking kitchens, for God's sake. That's not going to happen. Yeah. Yes. And and look, fucking anti-Semitism is real, is still going on, and it's horrendous. It's disgusting. Also, so is Islamophobia, but only one of those is acceptable.
Right.
It's totally okay to be Islamophobic. You will keep your job. You can. If Lindsey Graham said we should level Israel, he would be launched into the sun. Like, there's no way he'd still be having employed.
Yeah. No.
Anyway,
it's an absurd situation, and I guess another one that is very absurd as well that happened last week. The New York Times reported that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. had said that a brain worm crawled into his brain and ate some of it, and now he has cognitive problems. But also, you should vote for him to be the president. It's like beyond parody sometimes, like that saying that truth is stranger than fiction. Well, truth is funnier than fiction, I think. Like if you had a fictional RFK Jr. character in a TV series or something, and this happened to him, no one would believe you.
This feels like a storyline on Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Yeah, no, exactly. And of course, it does make me wonder about Donald Trump as well, because hell, that would explain a lot.
He might have brain termites.
Yeah, who knows? And they're clearly getting worse, whatever it is.
RFK Jr. just seems like a character from Arrested Development to me.
Yeah,
like the Bluth family would be trying to run him for office, like get their wall built.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like it's just
I can totally
unreal.
see that. Yeah. I can totally see that. Yeah, well, and then of course, speaking of Trump, his trial that he is going on for lying about trying to circumvent campaign laws with his payoffs to Stormy Daniels, and working with the National Enquirer. Stormy Daniels, she was in the witness stand, and Michael Cohen is in the stand this week. But man, Stormy Daniels, she absolutely killed it in court. I don't know if either of you guys got a chance to see the summaries of it, but yeah, she just absolutely killed it. And Donald Trump's attorney, Susan Neckles, I love it. The thing about Republicans, besides the fact that they're so malevolent and evil, like they're also stupid, like Rudy Giuliani. But like she basically, Susan Neckles, multiple times tried to be like, well, you said this. And Stormy Daniels was like, did I? Show me where I said that. And she was like, oh, yeah. So she pulled out a transcript and she read it. And it didn't say at all what she accused Stormy of saying. It's absolutely hilarious. And like
Trump knows all the best people.
That's right. And then Stormy Daniels got to relate, which the absolutely funniest story about her encounter with him, which is that, so he got, she came up to his room, which, as she later said, dumb fucking idea. Shouldn't have done it, she said. But then when he was up there, he was barely paying attention to her. And he was like, oh, look, here's a magazine cover that I'm on. And she was like, that's really rude. You are being really rude to me. Let me see that. And she grabbed the magazine from him and spanked him on the ass with it. Yeah. No, like Stormy Daniels is fucking cool, I have to say. I have to say, like,
I do like her, although she was touring comedy clubs for a while. And Stormy, get the fuck out of comedy clubs. I don't need you eating up my weekends. I don't care how many tickets you sell. You're not a comic. Get out of here.
Are you serious? She was trying to do comedy?
Yes, at the very beginning of this, she was touring comedy clubs. And I remain furious.
Oh, did you ever see any of her stuff? I never saw it. I didn't know. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, probably there's a reason she's not doing that anymore. But yeah, and I guess in other kind of new political news of the bizarre, Barack Obama's former campaign manager, David Plouffe, is launching a new podcast with Kellyanne Conway, and people are fucking angry at him, justifiably so. I mean, yeah, I see you shaking your head over there, Jamila.
I don't know. It's this weird thing that some Democrats do. Like they act like if they're just nice to Republicans, everything will be okay. Like somehow we're supposed to look past these being horrible people and the fact that she lied consistently on behalf of a wannabe dictator, but like playing nice with her on a podcast is somehow a sign of national unity.
Just for the record, she's allowed on the show anytime. We could use the numbers.
We won't be nice to her though.
Yeah.
But yeah, but yeah, Jamila, you're 100% right about that. Like, I think that there is this, and it's more of a, I'd say this is probably more of a white centrist Democrat problem, I would say. because, like to them, politics is a game, and they don't have anything at stake. If Donald Trump, overthrows democracy, David Plouffe can, take his probably multi-million-dollar net worth and move to France.
Yeah.
And he'll be fine, right? But the rest of us will have to stay. We're going to live with this. We would be stuck here. And these, wealthy Democratic establishment leaders, yeah, they need to pull their fucking head out of their ass, because, you can't do this shit. And, hopefully he will realize that and pull out of it. But yeah, this is one of the dumbest bullshit things I've seen a Democrat do in quite a while.
Yeah, it's not great.
Okay, all right. Well, we can move on. Why don't you do that one then, Lisa?
I love this one. I love Hannah Einbinder, which, if you don't know, she's Lorraine Newman's daughter. And I'm not saying that to say like she's undeserving of her success. She's very funny and she's a great actress. She was interviewed. I can't take the fucking questions about cancel culture anymore, because this is kind of an aside, but like, as a comic I've been on morning radio and news and all these things. And when you're on the road and you've got a weekend somewhere, you're promoting an album or a special or whatever, inevitably the hosts only want to ask female comedians about what male comics are doing. I was doing a huge tour years ago when Bill Cosby was in the midst of getting caught for all of, his drugging and raping women. And that's all anybody asked about. I was like, I have a fucking show tonight. I want to talk about the show. I have an album to promote. I want to talk about that. I don't give a fuck if Bill Crosby, listen, as far as I'm concerned, he's Bill Crosby now. Like, him and his fucking milky eye, he can drop dead anyway. So somebody asked Hannah Einbinder about what she thought about cancel culture, and she said it is bullshit that comedians can't be funny anymore. And this, I think, is right on this is coming off of the heels of Jerry Seinfeld doing a press tour wherein he said, extremists have taken over comedy, meaning progressives, and you can't say anything anymore. It's like, you fucking can. Like, first of all, you can say anything you want as long as it's written well and actually funny. These people just, they're still saying the slurs and the horrible things and the, my wife is a whore and I want to kill her with a chainsaw or whatever. They're still saying all these things, but people aren't enjoying it anymore. And they're mad. They're mad that people don't like their comedy. And these people are going on these huge podcasts and huge platforms and saying crazy shit. And then saying into a microphone in front of thousands of people, they're being silent.
They're being silent.
Yeah.
There's this crazy thing with comedians where there's this idea that in comedy, everything goes, nothing is taboo. You can joke about anything. You can say anything. But that's a rule that comedians agreed to. Like, the audience was not part of that decision-making process. You know what I mean? Like, audiences have never felt like everything goes in comedy, anything goes. We just have a bigger platform to respond today than we did when Andrew Dice Clay was telling racist jokes. You know what I mean? But it's crazy because the comedians who are complaining about being canceled are just getting bigger and bigger platforms. Like, Dave Chappelle gets more money every time he makes a trans joke, like, he gets a platform to complain about being silenced in front of 50,000 people.
Well, and it's also wild. Just the same fucking joke. Like, do we need to hear, the 1,000th time about how you think black people are stupid or that women are bitches? Like, do we need that? Was it funny the first 900 times? I don't think it was. It's
also like, Jerry was saying, like, there's no, oh God, I'm tempted to write an essay about this, because he was saying, like, people used to come home and they watched they watched All in the Family and they watched Mary Tyler Moore, and there's no shows like that anymore. First of all, Mary Tyler Moore was extremely progressive for its time. It was the first show that was centered around a career woman, that her whole focus in life wasn't about a man. She's a single career woman.
So was All in the Family too. Like, yeah. That
Well,
was progressive too.
I believe Mary Tyler Moore was also the first woman in a sitcom to wear pants when she was on the Dick Van Dyke Show, because everyone else was portrayed as like this perfect housewife in like a dress vacuuming, and she was like, that's not realistic. And she talked about fucking birth control on the Mary Tyler Moore Show, which was groundbreaking for the time. And as far as All in the Family goes, I think people that complain that that show couldn't be made again today. First of all, it's already made. We don't need to make it again. Also, Carol O'Connor, Archie, was the butt of the jokes. He wasn't the hero of the show, and Carol O'Connor was conflicted about taking the role, because he was like, I don't want anyone to think that these are my opinions, or that this stuff is good. Like, I really want to get across that this guy is the fucking idiot in the scenario. And it's like, I don't understand how Jerry Seinfeld, of all people, doesn't know anything about the history of two sitcoms that he cited.
And then he's also whining about, like, shows not being made today. Like, Seinfeld is on rerun, like, in every fucking market in America. Like, you're talking about it's not being censored. You can literally watch it any goddamn time you want, any day you want. You can find Seinfeld and watch it. Like, this guy is he could live off of that, the royalties, for his rest of his life. Never do a thing and still be making $1 million a year plus.
And nor should he. Have you seen Unfrosted? Oh my God.
I heard it's really bad.
I have only heard about it. Did you see it, Jamila?
Is that
it's not edgy at all. It's not edgy at all. It's terrible. It's terrible.
I think you just can't handle it. I think that's what it is.
Well, and that really is a lot of it. Like, they're like so many of these, boomer and older Gen X comedians, like, they're used to not being criticized. They are used to being the critic, and no one else can be the critic. And it's like, that's actually not the arrangement that you yourself said should exist for comedy. Like, I mean, as long as comedy's been around, like, people have criticized other comedians. It's like, do you not pay attention to your own industry? But yeah, it's just they've had also people's licking their boots for decades, and now people are like, you're not that funny, and you should get some new material.
Also, to your point, Jamila, I mean, I do believe nothing is off limits if you have something smart, insightful, fresh, interesting to say. But then, like you said, like, people have a bigger platform to respond to that. And I've had people not like jokes of mine on Twitter. I mean, I'm not saying anything inflammatory, but you just fucking ignore it. These people are such babies crying about cancel culture. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's not happening to you. Like, that's the reality.
Anyway, Jerry, I would love to open for you sometime. Thank you.
Yeah, well, and I guess speaking of bullshit scenarios, though, the CEO of Bumble, the dating app, she has gone public with her desire to remake dating so that everybody has an AI that you have told all of your insecurities and vulnerabilities and problems to. And then it will go on a date with somebody else's AI, and they will talk about how shitty you are or crazy. I don't like, it's the fucking hellish scenario. And she's like, yeah, it'll be so great. Amazing.
We live in hell.
Yeah. So I'm actually going to play the clip of her, so we can just put that in there. Let's see here. Okay. So yeah, the CEO of Bumble, this is what she wants
with AI is to help create more healthy and equitable relationships. And that also starts with yourself. how can we actually teach you how to date? How can we help you show up in a better way?
So give me an example.
Okay, so for example, you could in the near future be talking to your AI dating concierge, and you could share your insecurities. I just came out of a breakup. I have commitment issues. And it could help you train yourself into a better way of thinking about yourself. And then it could give you productive tips for communicating with other people. If you want to get really out there, there is a world where your dating concierge.
I love that there's a siren in her
with
background.
other dating concierge. No, truly. And then you don't have to talk to 6
people are laughing.
Scan all of San Francisco for you and say, these are the 3 people you really ought to meet. Our focus.
Yeah. So what could go wrong with that, right?
We just don't need it. We just do not need it. I don't think we need to encourage people to have less and less human contact. It's not good for your brain.
No.
I don't think the CEO of Bumble should be a married woman. I want to see, I want the CEO of Bumble in the trenches, sending messages first, like women have to do on the app, swiping endlessly. I want her to understand the user experience.
That is a very good point. Like, because that is, I think, probably the number one problem with big tech right now is that these are people that live in a different world from everybody else. And, you know, and like they ruin Google search. Now, Google search sucks. Like when you're trying to find stuff, half the time you don't find what you're looking for, at least for me. And, you know, and they just make everything shitty. Like everything is the algorithm now. Like you can't, you know, like everything is it. Like, and Instagram and TikTok, you know, like you can't even retweet stuff. Like that's bullshit. Like everything is based on, for you, you know, rather than, and then Twitter, of course, Elon Musk did the same thing to that. You know, he's trying to force everybody where like they control what you see and what you think. And they control who you even see. Like Jamila, you were talking on Twitter a little while ago about that you were seeing matches on Bumble that for people or guys that you had all of a sudden, like you wanted to talk about that for a second.
Yeah, I was actually on Hinge. I saw a TikTok from a young Black woman who said that she changed her race on Hinge from Black to white and started seeing better guys. And so I gave it a try and I found that it was true. And I'm only looking at Black guys and it still showed me better Black guys than what I usually saw.
And different ones.
Different ones, new ones, right? More than I usually would see. So either these guys are looking specifically for white women, or what I think is more likely.
And you can't set your race preference.
You can't.
They are okay. I was going to say, are they doing that, or is the app doing that? Either way, I don't like it.
So either these guys were looking for white women, or the algorithms are coding white women as more desirable, you know, and giving them a bigger crop of men to choose from.
Yeah, and like. And it's such bullshit because like the algorithms are now what determines what you see. Because like all of us, even if all 3 of us follow the exact same people on any of these social networks, we would see different stuff, even if we followed the same people. And that's fucked up. And then they don't disclose it either.
I don't think we need more AI and more things that feel scammy on dating apps. There's a recent thing that's been happening on dating apps, and I don't know if you've heard of this, Jamila. I'm on Hinge. Find me on there, guys. I'm on there, and there's a new thing I heard about where restaurants, this is so fucked up, where restaurants will make a fake profile of a person and ask somebody out. And then when you show up to the date, you are stood up because the person doesn't exist. Because the restaurant knows if you get stood up, you will buy a meal. And I'm like, absolutely fuck you. I would burn the restaurant to the ground.
Can you imagine First of all, I'm not staying at the restaurant. Like, you mean to tell me they think that I'm going to go tell the hostess I need a table for two, sit there, the waiter's checking in on me. I'm like, no, I'm just waiting for my date. Time goes on. I'm just going to give in and be like, well, I guess I'll have some food. Like, no, I'm humiliated. I'm getting out of there.
Or at least, we're annoyed. Yeah, as fuck. Yeah, that's super scammy. And super desperate of a restaurant. God, like you can't find any other way to get a customer.
I've heard of guys doing the same thing, like creating fake profiles, luring women to bars and restaurants. And then when they get stood up, they're the nice guy, like, hey, are you waiting for someone? What happened?
Ew,
wow.
What? What?
Yikes.
No. Gross.
I can totally see an Andrew Tate fan or somebody advising that. Ugh. Exploitation. Wow. Well, and that's absolutely gross. But something, I guess, a lot
in some funnier. Fun news.
There is, looks like the end of a feud that had lasted a little while, I guess, but really kind of flared up between Drake and Kendrick Lamar. And Drake kind of gave up, seems like. Right, guys?
He had no choice. I mean,
what's he gonna do?
He was being annihilated. Like, the song of the summer calls him a certified pedophile, and it's like a global phenomenon. I share every video that I see on Twitter. There are people in South Africa. There are people all over the country. Like, there's a merengue remix to some of these Drake diss records. Like, I've heard a steel pan version. Like, the world is turning against Drake.
Somebody made like a
there's languages
video game
no one's even heard of. It's just being played in dead languages. Also, Not Like Us dethroned Taylor Swift and Post Malone's Fortnite from the #1 spot, which is it's just so good. I love Kendrick Lamar so much. It's also like
so for people who didn't follow it though. Yeah, so for people who didn't follow it, you want to give the background on it for them.
So Kendrick and Drake had been taking some shots at each other over the years on record, usually kind of subtle. And then about a month ago, Kendrick releases a song with Future where he comes at Drake pretty directly. And so Drake comes back with a diss record called Push Ups, and Kendrick obviously had locked himself in the studio and committed to writing the most hateful, the angriest raps that I've ever heard. And he's outing the fact that, Drake has a reputation for dealing with young girls, and some people suspect that some of these girls may be underage. And Kendrick is definitely blowing that up. He dropped, I think Drake dropped 2 records, Kendrick dropped 3 or 4. But the last one that Kendrick dropped, Not Like Us, is a party record. So like, it's everywhere. Like, there's so many videos of just people dancing to it excitedly and singing every word. They're like playing it on NBA games, like middle American housewives are like, OVO. Say OVO.
And they have no idea what it's about.
No idea what it's about.
I love it so much. Also, like, I don't know. I feel like if a fucking Pulitzer Prize winner came for me, I'd be like, and you win, sir. I don't think I would even try to clap back at all in the first place. Like, you got it. Also, fucking Drake is so boring.
So boring.
Sir, what are you thinking?
He's so cringy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and to be honest, like, I think basically now it's like Kendrick is he's like the last real prominent male rapper. Like, the genre has been taken over by women, I feel like, and because they're doing a great job at it. I mean,
I don't know.
What would you
a lot
say,
of people I like,
guys? A lot of the biggest ones, though. And what do you think?
ASAP Mob, and there's so many.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But at the forefront in this moment, the women are running the airwaves,
saying.
In ways that they haven't really ever before. Like even when there was like Lauryn Hill and Missy and Eve, it was just never this much visibility for women in rap.
Yeah. So and it's also different as well because like they are doing things not just the same, the stuff that the older. I mean, Lauryn Hill different, but like it's just it's different. Also, what they're talking about, like they have a much bigger range of topics. I feel like, and that's part of why people are gravitating. But anyway, so I guess in other. Yeah,
it's the only celebrity.
Who knows? Maybe it's all. Is it all made up? Is it all made up? Who knows? What do you guys think?
I would hope not. No, certified pedophile. Like I don't know. Like this is
okay. That
like this doesn't end with the handshake. There's no coming back. Like Kendrick says, I think men like you should die. You know what I'm saying? Like I think you should die.
Yeah, okay, fair point. But I don't know.
Although I don't get the vibe that this is going to end in some kind of Suge Knight related disaster, which is nice that we've come away from that.
Yeah.
No, they're different.
Anyway.
Yeah. Well, and I guess speaking of coming away from something, a Michigan woman was recently revealed to have been living in a sign on top of a store, which, hey, you know what? Like, real estate has.
That's the only affordable housing there's left. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like there's probably a bunch of people in LA. We'd be like, hey, you know what? Where do I sign up for that?
Like in New York. In New York, they're going to start renting out spaces and signs. Like they've just given them some inspiration.
$2,000 a month.
Yeah,
for sure.
There was famously. There was famously years ago a homeless man in Chicago who rigged an apartment to the underneath of a bridge, like a drawbridge, and he created the space for himself and bolted all of his furniture to the wall so it wouldn't slide back and forth when the bridge went up, and he rigged electricity from the city, so he was living entirely for free, and he was living there I believe for years before he was caught, and then the city wanted to come after him, and I'm like, no, this man is a genius, you should hire him. What are you talking, you're gonna fine him? He's brilliant.
Well, and this woman, she had laid down flooring for herself, and she had a desk and a Keurig coffee maker and a printer and a computer. Like, I say leave this woman alone. Let her live there.
She's not bothering anyone.
Yeah.
What kind of sign are we talking here?
It was like one of those, triangle shaped signs. It was a supermarket.
Like a sandwich board?
No. It was like apparently let me see if I can see. Now you're making me have to put it in the.
This is great. I love it. We got to see a photo of it. I need to get is this a studio? Did she create a 1-bedroom? What's happening?
All right. Well, let me share the tab here.
Also, I feel like if she just marketed this on Instagram, nobody would complain. Oh, look at that. On the rooftop of a building. So it's right like here, less of a sign and more of kind of like a little rooftop room.
How is that any different than somebody living in an attic like that?
I'm sorry, and did that say family care? Leave her alone. The irony of him throwing her out. Family fair? Come on, leave the woman alone. We got to start a campaign.
And I think Jamila's right. She's going to inspire people. Like all these real estate, because commercial real estate is in the dumps, because everybody's like, why the fuck would I want to work in an office anymore? It's stupid. And so all of commercial real estate is just gone into a complete recession. And so, hey, they can add more residential. I think they will. I think you got it right there, Jamila. All right. And then I guess in a equally absurd story, Lifetime just came out with a movie that is, quote, based on a true story about although the case is actually sealed, so they just made it all up. But nonetheless, it's about a woman who was anonymously cyber-bullied by her own mother. And it is, and she It is, yeah. It was a very bizarre and strange story, and Lifetime came out
I
with a
feel
movie, but
like
apparently Lisa has a personal
I feel
connection.
like I could come for them for stealing my life story because my mother, I've had to block her on multiple accounts now. I initially blocked her just from my stories, and then I think my little brother maybe told her that I had only blocked her account from my stories. And so then she created another account and another account, and she was trying. Here's the thing: my mom likes to hit the bottle, so she forgets that she's trying to operate incognito. And I'm like, I know all of these are her because all of her identity and like her email addresses and everything has always been like something nautical and then some numbers. And so it was like part of one of her email addresses is dockside. I'm not going to tell you the numbers or which email account it is. So it's like it's just a series of those, but she would reply to something. Your dad says to put more clothes on, like if I'm in a tank top, or she would comment something like super. There was a couple of times where I don't remember what the comments were, but they were like super mean and super personal, where I'm like, I know this is my mother. And then friends of mine would be like, who's this fucking lady commenting this? And I'm like, I got to delete the comment because people like they thought it was like somebody that was just trolling me and hated me like some stranger. And I'm like, no, this is my mother. This is my mom.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, you should see some of the emails I've received. They're great. And then she doesn't remember and acts as though it didn't happen. So happy belated Mother's Day to her.
Wait, so you have talked about it with her. Wow. Okay. But she doesn't remember.
No. I don't bother. Because it's not, she just, it's not worth it.
Yeah, well, it is definitely the case. I think a lot of moms don't have the best relations with their daughters, seems like.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, ironic that we're doing this right after Mother's Day, as you said.
Yeah. I did call her yesterday and I was like, hey, happy Mother's Day. And she goes, oh, I'm watching something. I'll call you back, and hung up on me. And I was like, okay. Thanks, good talking to you.
Well, my mom at least is stopped sending me Book of Mormons. Like that is the thing that I had to get after her for, because after I left Mormonism, she would literally like send me stuff and I'd be like, Mom, I know more about Mormonism than you do. So like, please don't. I've already read the Book of Mormon. I know what's in there. Trust me. Save your money, please. And she did. She finally took the hint on that. So, but yeah.
Well, that's great. That's something. That is something.
My mom is like an Instagram lurker. Like she has an account with no picture and no posts, and she just everyone like once a year will comment on my page. I kind of thought she had gotten off of there, which I was glad about because I know she likes to see pictures of me and my daughter, and I usually just like send them to her so she doesn't have to go out there. But I recently went on vacation and I posted some bathing suit pictures. And, we were on the phone for about 30 minutes and it's going fine. And she was like, so I was just wondering, what inspired you to post yourself in a thong on the internet? I'm like, because my ass looks fat. What do you mean? She was pretty horrified. I've also found that this is really disturbing. Some of my father's friends send him racy pictures of me when I post them. Like, I guess they're trying to shame him or shame me. Like, I don't know what the end goal is. I think it's very creepy. I'm like, maybe you all shouldn't be following me. That's weird. But
that seems like an excuse to stalk you, is what that is.
It definitely does.
Yeah.
I'm just keeping tabs on Jamila, making sure she's staying on the righteous path. Right. That's all this is. It's research.
Yeah.
God, I love that we all have such normal families. Congrats to us.
Well, and actually, okay, let's see here. So speaking of creepy elderly people, Donald Trump supporters, they have the dumbest fucking fads. Like normal people are like, hey, I found, a cool hat, or I've got this really sexy dress or whatever. But for Trump supporters, they have a new fad, and it is to wear shirts that say "Real men wear diapers."
Now, here's the if this was in reaction,
and this is real, and this is real. Oh, that's the other thing.
If this was in reaction to like actual, what's the word I'm looking for? Discrimination against like elderly people that are experiencing incontinence, I'd be like, oh, that's kind of sweet.
Absolutely, yeah.
But it's not.
Yeah. It's not.
No, and it's so it all started. Seems like so. Michael Cohen has been Donald Trump's former lawyer, has been out there basically claiming that Donald Trump has horrible bowel control and smells awful. And other people who know him have said that as well. And he's, of course, been, as we talked about on this show, Lisa, if you remember, farting while he was sleeping in the courtroom.
I mean, he doesn't look like somebody that smells good.
No.
I feel like sometimes you can tell how somebody smells from a photo or video.
And this is, a guy who eats nothing but, fatty meat and oil, deep fried shit.
Yeah, I know somebody that eats almost exclusively fast foods and like food truck stuff, and they smell fucking weird. Like it changes your body chemistry. It's not. I'm not trying to shame people, but like if your body isn't getting nutrients and it's rotting from the inside out.
Yeah, and so, but Trump support, but like liking Trump, part of it is just like like so much of it's mostly psychological. Like people who really fucking love Trump, they don't know what his policies are. They like him because he's an asshole, and so are they. And that's why they do it. And so they have been wearing, and I'm gonna put it up on my screen here. So so after basically Donald Trump diaper sort of became like an internet meme against Trump. They have been creating signs that say "Real men wear diapers."
Wow!
Right here, this is one of them, and then we have another one here. So Adam Kinzinger, as I was saying. So yeah, this is a meme on the internet, and hold on, where's the other one here? I'm definitely.
Good God, I don't understand how the support gets cornier and worse every day.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, and then we have another one where they were so people have been just taking pictures out of Trump rallies, and here's another one. Real men wear diapers.
What a fucking waste of a banner and ink.
And then this one, this woman, diapers over Dems. Yeah.
I can't wait for Trump's backlash to this. Because Trump will never admit that he's wearing diapers. But now, I do actually love this, the poetry of it, where his supporters are excited to out him for wearing diapers.
It's like we're gonna glory in him wearing Depends. Like, what is wrong with you people? Like,
you know what it is?
Why do we have to share a country with these people?
it's like that Billy Madison storyline come to life, where the kid pees his pants in school, and then Adam Sandler's character Billy Madison like throws water on his crotch, and he's like, "It's cool to pee your pants." Like this is bad, but in reality,
it really is. And it's like, you do a parenting podcast, Jamila. Like this is like somebody glorying in their child peeing their bed or something.
Yeah.
Isn't that what this is?
That's exactly it.
It's so messed up. And like, hey, I'd rather, if Trump supporters want to go with this, I encourage you guys, please trend this, like make this trend. I will be so triggered. I will be so upset so angry. I will be. I won't know what to do with myself. So please, guys, do this. All right. Well, so that's our last story of the day. So it's been great having you here, Jamila. If people want to check out what you're up to, where should they go to for that?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Jamila Lemieux, and my website is jamilalamew.com.
You want to spell that for people who are listening?
JAMILAHLEMIEUX.
All right. And I mean, it means the best in French. So Jamila is the best. All right.
Well, and please find me on Instagram at Olympian Lisa Curry. I post all my show dates there. I'll be in Las Vegas at Brad Garrett's Comedy Club inside the MGM Grand, May 28th through June 2nd. Really looking forward to that. So come see me there. Even if you don't live in Vegas, fly out. Come on.
Hey, it's cheap. Yeah. And everybody make sure to follow at Doomscroll Show on all the places. And we will see you next time.
See ya.